So I went to Whole Foods and I ate inside. I got some of those dumplings. Remember that clear plastic thing of dumplings I got that one time? I got those. And I got, this was just a clear water, but then they have a raspberry version of this stuff. I think it's some sort of berry. Um, that's why it's pink. So this is Starkey spring water, 2 miles deep, geothermal, single source, and naturally alkaline at 9.2 pH. I seen a TikTok talking about how like alkaline water and like the shape of it and how it's absorbed by your cells compared to normal water. And it was wild. It's a nice cool morning. It's like 66 degrees. Usually I would be asleep right now, but it's the weekend, so normally I would actually be at my boyfriend's house. But since I'm not there, everything's just kind of different. So I woke up early and I've been up since like 6. I bought some vitamins finally. They're expensive. It's like 30 something dollars. I went to Walmart earlier. If I can get that open. And I got one of those smoothie bowls. It's still kind of frozen, like ice cream texture, so that's good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that was super annoying to open. That was very frustrating. Alright. Anyways, take my vitamins. Finally. Okay. And then here in a minute I'll get some ice. Then I can throw in my cooler. Earlier I drank this. Okay, so I have 20% of my battery left, but talking about the work thing, when you're on your lunch break or you're on your breaks and someone else is on their break too, don't talk about work. Don't talk about coworkers. Don't talk about tasks. Don't talk about jobs. Don't talk about the annoying customers. Don't talk about this is your first job. Don't ask questions on how to do things. Don't don't even see it as an opportunity to like gain connections or whatever. Like you might think like, oh, if they're friends with the manager and then I could be friends with them, then maybe I'll get a promotion. People see through that kind of stuff. So lunch and break times, just focus on yourself. Go to the bathroom, get some water, get something to eat, go to your car, hang out in the locker room and play on your phone, go to the break room. But and if you're gonna talk to other people, have conversations that have nothing to do with work. Talk about fishing or your hobbies, or talk about something they're interested in, or the sports game that's on. But unless they're super interested in the conversation, don't try to force people into having conversations with you. Because a lot of times people are just nice and they would rather have time to decompress and just sit there in silence and not have to go out to their car or play on their phone or do something. They just want to relax for a minute. But the break room is not a nap room. Sometimes I have couches and stuff. It's probably fine to kick your feet up, especially if they have like a thing. What's it called? Like ottoman, I think is what it's called. But it's kind of rude to sleep in there. And the reason I clarify that is because I'm very aware of like in college culture, a lot of times that you'll see people like napping on the couches and in the break rooms and stuff, like napping. And even just like if there's like a couch in a common area and it's not like super public, like I've even taken naps on those couches. It's chill, you're in college, but when you're in a workplace it isn't like that. I'm gonna finish this. Had all of that um dumplings just now, pot stickers. So I'm gonna have the rest of this and charge my phone. I still got that. And I have a big jug of water too. Yeah, I'm gonna charge my phone and do all the things. So eventually I gotta get some gas. Oh yeah, it's another topic. Get gas. Whenever you have a job, don't think, oh, I'll do it later. It would be easier to get it later at a different time. If you're like, I can get gas, I have money and I have space in my tank, stop and get gas. Because for one, gas prices hardly ever go down. I mean, yeah, sometimes they go up and then they come back down a little bit. But overall, it's probably best to just go ahead and buy gas, because something that can happen is you're like, oh, I could get gas, but I'll get it in the morning. And the morning comes around and you oversleep, and then you're like, oh, it's fine. And then you go drive to work and you're like, well, I'll get it when I get off. And then you're like off work and you're just like, oh, I'm so tired. Can't wait to get home. Then you get home, you're like, oh, I forgot to get gas. So then you're on your way to work again and you're like, I really need to get gas, but I'm going to be late if I stop. And, so just if you're looking at it and you're like, yep, I could get gas, go ahead and get it. If you were one of the lucky ones that drove themselves to school and had to pay for your own gas, like in high school and stuff, you're already familiar with this. But having your first job also means like this is the first time you're really driving somewhere regularly. That's like an important place to be. So make sure you're prepared. You got a spare tire, you got fix a flat, you got all the things you need, that you know how to do all those things. Because that could be the difference between having a good job having income coming in and being homeless, you know. So you don't want to lose your job, but if it's your first one, it's very likely that you're still like someone's dependent. And that's fine. But when you start buying all your own stuff, you'll start realizing why people always talk about budgets and make a spreadsheet or whatever. I was lucky in that money was already a skill I already had before I started working. So I don't actually know what it's like to be irresponsible with money. But I do know that if you want to be responsible for money, with money, you can't be too rigid in your thinking on this. But you got to be able to like prioritize. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't just say like, oh well, food is always going to be priority, because what if you have $5 in your account and you could buy breakfast and go to work and have a good day, or you could put $5 in your tank. So you go to your car and you know you got $5 and you're thinking, I could stop and get breakfast. There's no food at the house, but your car is empty. Oh, I forgot to put gas in my car. I got just enough I can make it to the gas station, but I don't have enough I can make it all the way to work. Well, then obviously you're going to want to put gas in your car. It's a pretty simplistic what are they called? I guess example, but I was looking for a different word. It's pretty simplistic. In reality, like, you're gonna have a lot of things, and you don't know the future. You know what I mean? So like, you don't know like what's priority, because if you buy new shoes and then all of a sudden you need to repair your phone, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta know what's important. You know, sometimes it's more important to buy new shoes because if you don't have a certain pair of shoes and you're gonna get fired. Sometimes it's more important to get your phone fixed because that's the way you do your work and you have to have it fixed. You can't wait for the parts to come in and do it yourself. Um, you know, so whenever you're in the situation where you need the shoes and you can work without your phone, you can have a broken phone. But then when the script flips, you know, it flips and you need your phone for work, then, you know, new shoes aren't really the concern when they were before, because it's like a safety issue. So just like priorities, and keep your things in good condition. So if you do buy a pair of work shoes, and like for me, for example, the company bought me a pair of work shoes. They just like were giving everybody a pair of work shoes to like help us, you know. But the options they had was not stuff I want to wear. So I kept those and they're in good condition. And then the ones I worked in, I kept those in pretty good condition, but I wore them, so I mean they're worn in. Well, you take those and you can sell them. Now the thing is, I'm having trouble selling my shoes right now, but you could always sell them. So, you know, make sure you keep your things in good condition. That way you can sell them in the future. Um, be smart. about your purchases, obviously. I spend a lot of money in like health food, but I think it's worth it. You'll learn what your means is and how to live within your means because you won't have that, like, I guess, fallback of a family. Like when you're a child, like, you're not the one making the financial decisions. But now that you got, like, your first job, you got to make your own financial decisions. And as you get older, you're going to be less and less dependent on your parents, hopefully. And eventually the roles reverse. Your parents are dependent on you or the state. But that was good. It was a good breakfast, some dumplings, and how do you say it? Acai. Where did I? Here it is. I posted this. I was like, "Do you guys know anything about these?" Here's the packaging. It's like, let me know. And some of the people are like, "Oh, that's actually a really good brand." And then one person was like, "That's fake." I'm like, I don't know what to think. Is it fake? It could be fake. Oh my god. I just charged this. Huh. I haven't had it for long enough for it to be like run out. Maybe I charged the other one. I don't know. Thought I just charged that one. Alright, let's see. I got two. Yeah, look, that one's definitely working. I heard it and I could feel it. So, finally got my vitamins from Whole Foods. And that's another thing, is like thinking priorities and like from the perspective of a child versus an adult. It's so different. I mean, obviously, right? But when you're like a young adult, you still have some of those priorities the same as like your child self. And I think it's important to like honor those, to like if your child self is like really wanting to do something and you can afford it, consider it. You know what I mean? If it's super expensive or it just isn't a good time to be buying things that aren't absolute necessities, then there's like other ways to fulfill those like childhood fantasies because it isn't really materialistic things that your inner child is after because that's not what you were after as a kid either, but some sort of like experience that you would get out of that. So you have to like figure out like what is it that I'm trying to experience and then search that out. A lot of it is actually you can just find it in nature. You can just go like on nature walks and hikes and stuff. I spend a lot of time in nature, like, and have a lot of dreams about nature too. But you just gotta like stay focused and now that like the whole nature thing. That's probably what I'm gonna be doing until I start getting some work around 7 o'clock tonight, and it's almost 7 o'clock a.m. So I've been up since 6. But I slept in a different place than I normally would, so I just wasn't very comfortable. But I was so tired. I was like, I can't go all the way back. So I just like stayed there and then slept it off and then start over today. It's warming up. It's becoming more summer. It's got me thinking a lot about the drought. And I'm not trying to laugh. I was just trying to like cough. But I've been thinking a lot about the drought. And it's almost like people think it's going to be this slow burning thing, that like global warming is happening over the past years, it's going to keep happening over the future years, and we got to figure out a way to slow it down, stop it, reverse it. Okay, yes, but it's going to hit like all at once. Like we're just going to have like a heat wave one summer, and it's gonna be like most things will die. Like they're gonna come on the news and they're gonna be like, all of the birds in America are dead. Like not just one species of birds, but like all of them are dead. And like 80% of all the fish are dead. And like 90% of the fields are dead. And 80% of the trees are at risk of dying, and there's wildfires and there's pests, and it's just escalated to this point. So, I'm looking at it and I'm like, how can we prevent this from happening? But then also, I feel like it's too late. It's too late. This is going to be the summer that like everything dies. My device is getting too hot, and I was just about to talk about farming. Oh my gosh. I guess I should post my videos so I have more storage anyway. I'm not sure. I don't think I can edit them if I don't have space. So I'm just going to have to upload them how they are in the sections they're in, and as incoherent as they are. But once I post those, I'll have more space that I could do like an individual video, go and edit it, and go from there. I have a lot of like videos that I can't delete yet because I'm still working on a project, and I just don't have the mental like energy to deal with it. Watching the birds. Um, yeah, so I mean, it kind of seems like the only thing that's going to survive is stuff that's like indoors, and a lot of stuff is still outdoors. That's what's scaring me, is a lot of species are going to be lost over a relatively short period of time. Like, and when every time a heat wave hits, like there's just going to be stuff dying. And like species don't come back once they're extinct. It just makes for less biodiversity. I keep saying I'm gonna go, and then I never do, and now I'm just expecting my phone to shut off any second now. I don't know what to do. Like, where I want to go. I don't like going to the old mill because people there, like, I don't know what their deal is. So for the old mill to park, there's a sidewalk, and you can park beside the sidewalk all the way down, and then it goes into like neighborhoods and stuff. So most people park on that sidewalk, obviously, because the only other option is to park like in front of houses. And so I'll be sitting there, and they'll be getting out of their cars and stuff. And even though I'll have the view like pretty tight in on me, where you can't really see out the window until they start walking past my car, when they get like in the zone of like my car and my space, basically. But they're on the sidewalk. But once they get into this little view, because I'll have the camera pretty tight, I'll have it like right there probably. And as soon as they get right there of this, like if they just start walking, it's like 1 second. It's like literally like that fast. But they'll be walking, and they'll be like, they'll see it, and they'll just like stand there, and then they'll like walk back here, and then they'll come back, and they'll just stand there, and then they'll walk up, and they'll just like keep doing this, and then they'll just like stand here and start making commotion and stuff, and like then they'll be looking at the camera, and then they'll walk off. I'm like, what? Like, stop wasting my time, because I have to edit all that out. But the normal ones, they'll walk past. But then the ones that see me filming, they're the ones that like get up here. I'm like, oh my god. So that's always obnoxious. But it's nice because there's trees, so I like to park out there. Um, I should probably consider going, but I don't know where to go. I don't necessarily want to go to the old mill. It's a pretty small area anyways, so I couldn't really walk around a whole lot. And I guess I could go to the river. What do you think? Should I go to the river? Guess so. I'm not sure if there's trees down there. So not the river. Not Pinnacle Mountain either, because it's all cleared out. The parking is. I don't know. I keep expecting the camera to be off. At this point, I'm just kind of waiting for it to turn off. Because it said it was getting hot, so I was expecting it to turn off soon. Um, hmm. I don't know. 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 I keep saying I'm definitely gonna have to edit these videos, so I need to find somewhere shady to park so I can do that. Maybe a cemetery, but I don't know. Those are kind of hit or miss. I could go to. Guess I go to my usual Bass Pro Shop. So, this is for real a goodbye.